Wiggle, wiggle. Chat, would you still watch me if I was a worm? Wait, no, I need to save these jokes for when the stream actually begins. Okay, chat, remember. Gene Worm. I'll be back. Chat, would you still stay in my basement if I was a worm? Chat, would you still let me lock you up and starve you if I was a worm? I'll still be a red worm with one black stripe. It's fine. Just imagine you're getting bullied by a worm. Wait, I think I can get a worm VTuber model. We will have to see. No way, I found one. I found one. It's already rigged and has emotes. And it has 2 colors or 3 colors, so I can make it red and black alternating. Oh. Oh my. I refuse to do that right now, though. Maybe later. I didn't buy a sourdough starter kit. No, why would I do that, Karamia? Why are you calling me out like that? I would definitely not buy a sourdough starter kit because I thought, ooh, look, these baskets that you use to make the dough raise, it would also cook in the oven, and they're silicone, so they're easy to clean, won't mold, and I can make more bread. Totally didn't buy that, so I don't know why you're even saying because of the model. Never mind. No. It's a kit for a sourdough starter. It's not a sourdough starter. It gives you all the equipment that you need to make your own sourdough starter, as well as cook your sourdough bread. So it's... Oh, I only have 27 seconds left. Oh, my camera's... Okay, 1 second. I don't have a jar. Also, I wanted the silicone molds for the bread to cook in the oven mostly. I didn't really care about the rest of it. So, chat, step 1 of being fiscally responsible. Don't trust men on the internet. Like me, hello. Oh, thank you. Give me the head pats. I'll take them. Yee. Hi, Happy. Okay. Yeah, don't trust men. Honestly, men, no. Bad chat. Bad. Also, don't install Rainbow Six Siege in the background like I'm doing right now. I mean, what? Never. Oh, men are hot, and I'm attracted to men, and I'm attracted to women, and I'm attracted to everybody. But also, don't. Okay, lovelies. God damn it. You're gonna start me like that right away? I mean, hello, Ziggy. Thank you for the new subscription. Hey, check it out. Thank you for the prime sub. All right, so y'all be patient. We got to go through our little shindig here. But I love all of you new people. So you ready? we're going to do our first thing, as always. Thank you, Silver Vang, for being first. Thank you. Ow! Stop hitting me. Thank you, Catherine, for being second. And Cheshire and Bones, thank you for being third. Then we have hello to everybody who checked in. So hello, Silver Vang. Hello, Kamea and Gangsta Neeks. Hello, Macaroni and Meow Kitty Cat. And hello, Thriller. N3 and 3. Hello, Calypso. Hello, Onyx and Vo. Hello, Vo. Ico. Hello, Pebbles and Shina and Brooke. Hello, Ocean and Anna Apocalypse. Hello, Echo Infernal and Annabelle and Zakona. Hello, Gibbets. Hello, Ziggy. Hello, Kitty. Hello, Tide. Hello, Luna and Honey and Pink. Hello, Red Faye. Hello, Pandragon. Hello, Teddy Bear and Mr. Harvest. Hello, Shadow Walker and Red Moon. And hello, Kiliki, Onyx, True Grave, and hello, Ellie. Oh, and hello, Minerva. You got in right at the end. There you go. Thank you all for checking in. Nalia, I'm sorry. I am a bit tired. This is your first stream. Don't worry, it only gets worse from here. I swear, I promise, it'll only get worse from here. Today we're cleaning up blood. But I'm so happy to see all of you here, especially you new people. You've never watched Twitch before? Oh, okay, so Minerva. Base day for the bits. Basically, let me pause the music. It's getting to my brain and I can't think. So, basically what happened recently is that Twitch changed the way viewers are counted. And so a way to make sure that all of the viewers are counted, I added a check-in button. If you do the check-in button, the Twitch will recognize you as an actual viewer, will allow you to show up a bit easier for me, and it means that my count goes even higher. If you just watch in silence, then it may not recognize you. See? Thank y'all. Thank you, Ashley and Cottage Faye and Hebby and Joel. But as a little bit, at the beginning of every stream, I read through every single person who's checked in at the very beginning. Because sometimes I don't see it during the stream. Hello, Aaron. And hello, Nix. But that's what it is. And today, we're going to just play some game, hang out, chat for a while. I made sure to choose a nice and easy, calm game so that we can just hang out together. And right now, I'm in my Southern Voice Redeem, which ends in about 3, 2, 1. And we're back to normal. How dare Twitch not count me while I'm designing my Stardew farm? Exactly, and thank you for the hydrate. Well, I appreciate you coming by, Cottage Faye. Genuinely. Really. Fine. We'll use that voice too. There we go. You happy? You get your silly little whiny voice, and I don't know why you like this one. I can't. This one personally is not one of my favorites, but I'm glad this one's only a minute. How is this relaxing? Oh, hello, Moreau. How are you doing? Okay, so I need to find the game we're gonna play today. Today we're gonna be doing Crime Scene Cleaner. It's a really fun game. I'm gonna be cleaning up blood and all this stuff, and we're gonna try to cover up crimes. No. Fine, I'm such a good doggy. It's not a femboy, it's just whiny. Y'all consider anything whiny, and we gotta stop this one. Ugh. Okay, I feel better. Hi, Ray does the thing. You sound like Deku. Oh, Gotchan. Gotchan, why can't I be the greatest hero? Gotchan. Gotchan's a little bit further back. Gotchan. Thank you for the follow, Pumpkin Spice. Thank you. By the way, so, first off, for all of you new people who've never been here, hi. Welcome to my basement. It's pretty, isn't it? Don't you like how nice it is? I keep it nice and well kept, and I had a spot made just for you. It's right here, in the corner. There it is. Oh, look at you. Look how cute you look. And there we go. That's better. Enclosure time. Isn't enclosure time the best time? Just the best time ever. So now you gotta live here again. Oh, you want shaky? I can shake it. There you go. There we go. Enjoy the cage shaking. Shampoo and hair Amdis. What? Good. I mean, as you should be. As you should be. We have to do this every once in a while. I have to remind you that you're never escaping. Okay? You're never leaving. Oh. But it's okay. It's okay. You look adorable in the cage. That was a long time ago, Amdis. Give me food? Maybe. Maybe. I'll think about it. Hello, Eli. Just thinking about how I missed the cage. I'm glad.
I set the cage on fire.
Don't. Do not do that. Do not set the cage on... Why would you set the cage on fire? Just prepared a few pomegranates. Who wants some? I want some pomegranates. By the way, chat, if you eat a few of those seeds, yeah, they will permanently make you a member of the basement. Because, plot twist, my basement's actually in Hades. You made me a... Okay, well, you know what? A sandwich is worth it. Go to sleep. Go to bed. If it's late for you and you need to get some sleep...
I'm on fire.
If it's late for you and you need to go to bed, okay? If you got works, go to sleep. I appreciate you. Oh, my basement's in Hades.
Gene, you can slip me a Red Bull through the bars. I won't tell the others. Pandra Tenduck.
The underworld.
No, my plushies. This your first punk mo, wirst du like.
Yes, Hades is both the term for the underworld as well as the god itself, or Tartarus, but that's a specific part of Hades. I shall continue my attempt to get better at drawing. Good job, Moreau. I believe in you, Moreau. You got this. Spins while saying no to going to bed. Go to bed. Look, it's okay to go to bed. I appreciate you coming by, but you're ready in my cage, so you don't need to stay, okay? You're allowed to get some sleep, okay? Sleep. Eeps. Be good. Neek's naked or clothed Jim? Who is Jim? And why is he naked? Why are we making Earthworm? Don't make him naked. He's a little guy then. I am not Earthworm Jim. I have a full body. You might be surprised. You might be surprised, but my body is full. Okay. Well, we're going to go straight into crime scene cleaner because I'm wanting to clean up my crimes. All of my numerous crimes I have committed over the times. I'm full of what? What did I say? Dwarf, how dare you? How dare you? How dare you, Dwarf? And I just gave you a badge and everything. Shame. Shame. Cannot believe you. All right, it's time. No running. No, can't run. Can't run. There are traps all around the place. You're going to fall in them. And I don't want you to get hurt. So, you know, maybe don't fall in them. Okay? A suggestion. Maybe don't. Okay? How does that sound? There you go. I think stream's a good volume. All right. Are you ready?
What was I doing?
Does that make me Cerber? You know what?
Gene, I'm taking Cerberus, and we're going to make waffles and cake and a sandwich. Then watch TV in your bedroom, since I put a TV in there, and take you.
I like how Obama paused. I like the pauses Obama did. Wait. Sorry, let me turn on the music. I apologize. Give me 1 second. I'm adjusting the music. There you go. My bad. I do apologize. The music was so loud. Is music good right now, everybody? All the volume's good? I guess I would be Cerberus. Do I need more head? Can I have more heads?
Throws a Big Mac at Gene. Let me out, or there's more where that came from.
So chat, multiple head.
Gene, do you mind explaining what the chains in the basement are for?
Keeping people from leaving. What do you mean? Obvious. Some of my void links. Multiple head. Womp womp. Womp womp. Alright. 3G wants more head. Oh, I just want more heads. I need to adjust this again. 1 second. I gotta make it so I can actually see chat. There we are. Such a lonely day, and it's mine. The loneliest day of my life. There we go. Okay. Anyways, sorry. Hi. What would you do with 3 heads? Eat 3 snacks. Obviously. 3-way self-kiss? I don't kiss myself. Maybe. Maybe I'd kiss myself. Maybe a little kisses. Maybe 1 or 2 kisses. But only sometimes. Okay? Only sometimes. Only sometimes. You sound like a TV host, mister. Oh, congratulations. Welcome to the show. My name's LuckyJene, and I'm here to remind you that you stink. That's right, chat. All of you right now stink. Congratulations on stinking. Also, we got the freaking nerd voice now. Who redeemed this? Lucy. Really? This is what we... I do remember the gay wolf. Do you remember the gay wolf? So, chat, I forgot to mention this. There are 2 gay wolves inside of me, and they're always making out. I miss the German accents with him. I don't know if I can do both of them at the same time, but we are going to try them now, okay? So this is going to be the best I can do. We do the little bit of a lisp, but it's also going to be with the German there, okay? So tell me, should we mix the 2, or should we just do one of the other? Oh, if you want this one. I don't know how long I can maintain this one. This one's going to be difficult. I need one and a bonsai. A gay wolf, yes. Yes, cat. What else would it be? Just a little bit of a... My brain is immediately shut off now, and I really cannot remember what you were talking about. How on earth are the voices being redeemed? Well, so in the bottom there's a redeem section, and they let you redeem different voices. Oh, you want me to do the ara in this voice? Okay. There's the other. There's no off in this voice, none at all. Okay, I can stop this one. Sweet. And there we go. All right. Yeah, sorry.
The majestic gay wolves kissing sloppy styles.
So that was from a bit or something I was talking about when I was doing stream a while back. We were doing Minecraft, and there was a thing about, you know, there are 2 wolves inside of you. One is gay, the other's gay, and they're making out. You're a furry, or you're a gay wolf. All right, thank you for the follow. And so I said, yeah, I'm sorry, chat. I don't have ADD. I just have 2 gay wolves, and they're making out all the time in my brain. Sloppy styles. I brought the gay wolves back. Chat, I'm repopulating the gay wolf population, actually.
Anything with a full bag.
Tell my therapist. Hi, therapist. Yes. So I've discovered that I don't actually have mental issues. It's just that there are 2 gay wolves in my head, and they're making out all the time. No. Ooh, thank you so much for the Wadim.
Time for a bag swap.
And do these gay wolves seem real to you? They are real. They're only kissing, sloppy styles. You know, I mean, I always wonder, can an online therapist have me institutionalized? Do you think they could, like, call up the local shrink and be like, hey, Gene? Yeah, that boy ain't right. We need to take him to a shrink. But, like, a bigger shrink. Does the therapist know? Oof. You know, it's gonna be a hard, yes, I'm going to have to go traumatize my therapist now. Jaw jousting gay wolves.
First.
Yes, exactly. Alright, let's go back to trash collecting. Any trash here? There's so many ducks. I think we're good on oh, wait. I got 1 piece of trash. There we go. No, Gene, we can't lose you to Gribby Sock Vacation. Yeah, well, I mean, it's fun, though. It's definitely a fun game. I enjoy it a lot. Bye-bye. Stay gay, guys. Stay gay, guys. I'm actually going to make a TikTok series explaining VTuber culture and how to do things on streaming. Because it's funny how many of you don't know anything about streamers or VTubers. You just follow me. Thank you so much for the new subscription. Thank you for the new subscription. Hey, thank you, Ashley Ho. Ho6. Hawks? I feel bad for calling you a hoe. Thank you. Well, it's it's H016. H016. I'm sorry. Ashley H. Hi. I can't read. Reading is hard. Look, you don't come to me because I read. You come to me because of my vast intelligence and big brain and very high-pitched voice. Oh, I'm a writer, not a reader. Duh. I'm also not a speller. Which is crazy to me. Like, I'm an anime boy. As a person who isn't watching VTubers, why are you watching an anime boy? What about me appeals to the people who aren't VTuber fans? That I'm just extra special, you know? What do you write? Oh, all sorts of things. I am writing a novel. I write short stories, fantasy, horror, some dark romance from time to time. Fiction. Nothing published. 'Cause it's fun and comfy to watch you. Is it? Do I not move too jerky? Wait, I'm gonna lower my sensitivity. There we go. That should feel a little nicer. I need to calm down. I'm too energetic right now. I'm too hyper. Well, that's fair. I mean, I wasn't gonna let you go anywhere else. My voice work. Hey, there's new people here. Hey, new people, do you want to hear my voice acting demo reel? Do you want to hear my voice acting demo reel? Oh, here we go. Arf, arf, I'm such a cute little puppy. How dare you? Yay! I don't think I'm gonna make it. My legs hurt. Even my brain hurts.
Reversing the polarity will cause a cataclysmic reaction of... turn the dials right. Make device go boom!
I thought I'd left you dead in the desert. I mean, haunted by ghosts, ain't I? guess I deserve it.
Good evening, fellow Mad Cats. DJ Fang is ready to spin more records. Coming up next, 12 commercials back to back. My favorite.
You made it. I didn't think you'd come. No one else has. Still, you seriously made my day. We are not taking any more party members. Wait, are you wearing a dead possum as a scarf?
Nah, she ain't dead. She's just scared. The poor sweetie pie.
Please, take a seat. Right here, by my side.
Where you can't get away so easily.
I am Nerd. Hear me roar. I can't really roar that well, but I'm trying, okay?
Well, that's what the last guy thought. And you don't want to know what happened to him.
Do not be blinded by fear, my child. Embrace it. Welcome it. Let it pass. Remember, only you shall remain in the end.
So that's my voice acting demo. It is currently a hobby. I am in one video game, but it's an indie game. And I am trying to get into more games over time, but I have not had anything more than the one role. But it's something that I'm working on. I'm trying to get there. One day, one of these days. A John? You're right. It's a John.
No littering. But what exactly counts as litter?
What do you mean, what just happened? Thank you. I hope I make it too. To be fair, I'm not. I'm sorry, Ashley Ho. Zero. What else would I pay attention to? Not picking on you? Don't flip the table. Pick that back up. Pick that back up. Hey, put that back. Somebody right up the table. Somebody fix the table. Rude! My table. And they throw it to the ground. My dad is not a cell phone. There we go. That's a giant flip table. What was I saying? My brain shut off for a little while. Voice acting, right? Sorry. I don't know what I was gonna say about
some huge blast.
I don't know what I was gonna say about voice acting anymore. My brain is gone. If you have any questions, though, you want me to answer anything, feel free to do so.
Empty
Okay.
the trash can first.
It's not. That one wasn't the goblin voice. That was an orc voice. My goblin's more up here. Goblin is higher pitched. He's here and he's got a little bit of a plan. He's gonna be doing things. He's gonna be running around. He's gonna do stuff. He's a little goblin. He's a little goblin guy. You see, I have this little side business where I take people's trash and I clean it up a little bit and I sell it straight back to them and they never see it coming, honestly. Cobalt? Cobalt is more dumb. It's dragon-like. So, but the way a lot of people do Cobalt is a lot higher pitch. So it's going to be the same kind of gruffness to it, but higher. And I don't know how I would do that, actually. Oof. Without straining my voice right now, I don't think I can manage it. But I'd have to think about it. Thank you for the lurk, Aiko. By the way, chat, if you ever want to see the Voidlings in my next model design, Aiko is drawing both of them. You will get to see what the chat avatar looks like, and it is going to be drawn and made, and all sorts of things soon. Kenku. I got Kenku. You ready?
Oh, drunk right now. Perfect time for a podcast. So friggin' friggin' drunk. You can't really work while sober. You're so smart, dude. I love
Because
you,
Kenkus
bro.
don't talk. Yes.
Tommy, what happened? I'm coming
Yes, new
for
model.
you.
Never in a million years I would have guessed what happened here.
Oh, if you say banana, basically, occasionally I've flirted with people in the past, but also if I'm having a conversation with you directly and you feel uncomfortable based on how the conversation is, you can say banana, and I will not continue on that conversation route, okay? And that is fine with anybody. If anybody's interacting with somebody else and they feel uncomfortable in the situation, they are allowed to say banana. Oh, gangsta neeks, don't you leave. But don't flip people. Let people sit around. Okay, we need to get rid of the rest of the trash. You want you to concern your dad? Nah, it's fine. If he wants to be concerned, he can just see the fact that you're watching an anime boy online. You weirdo. Well, Vanya, that's just the way the community be sometimes. That's just the way the community be sometimes. Alright, I think we have most of the trash. I'm going to start putting away these trash bags. Mm-hmm. That's fair, that's fair. You can hide in the basement down there. Alright, there's no trash here. There's trash. There, we got all of the trash. Okay, let me go throw away all these trash bags real quick. Twerk for Vanya. Valid. Make sure it's consensual twerking. Who said I was twerking? I can't twerk. I could try to twerk, but I guarantee it won't work. I ain't got enough cushion for twerking. Where's my other bags? Thing for the lark. You wiggle the hips? That's fair. That's fair. That works. Alright. Now it's blood cleaning time. Ooh. Where'd the water go? Thank you for the like, Brisk. Always appreciated. Always appreciated.
If I had $1 for every time I have to clean blood out of a pool.
People need to stop bleeding in pools, honestly. Oh, I'm sorry. Do you know all you need to do to draw me? It's very simple. All you need is dog ears, red hair, black stripe. You can put that on a rock and it counts as me. Well, it's a magic. It's a magical Leoplaridon. Obviously. It's a magical Leoplaridon, Charlie. It'll show you the way. It's true. It's true, Max. Redeem. Ooh, thank you so much for the redeem. And can you do a Hispanic voice? Have you tried? MMX, I'm curious. I most definitely cannot. I have never attempted, and probably will not until I try to learn Spanish. But when I do learn Spanish one day, which is a plan of mine, I will. Oh, pay me like a French girl. Oh, please pay me like a French girl. Paint me like a laying down French girl. I need this in my life. You do not want me to attempt. Why do you not want me to attempt, huh? Where's my bucket? Bucket. Paint me like a French bulldog. Has been done. Allie. Allie. Is this that one that you want? Hello, my name is Igor Montoya. You killed my father. Prepare to die. Hello, my name is Igor Montoya. You killed my father. Prepare to die. Well, I suppose we can do this one. That one would work. Faja. Hello. My name's Igor Montoya. You killed my Faja. Prepare to die.
Just a little more effort and room will be ready.
Well, okay. I can do this one for you. Just for you, Zovania.
Hello, my name's Igor Montoya. You killed my father. Prepare to die.
Anyways. Oh, learn Spanish. No, why would I not want to learn Spanish? I believe that Spanish would be very, very cool for me to learn. It would be such a cool experience. What do you think? You don't think I could do good Spanish? I think I could learn it very well.
Cleaning is my passion.
There is my mop. So why should I not do it, okay? Mexican Spanish, so? That is not what I wanted. It works, though. Okay, here we go. I got this.
Just a little more effort and room will be ready.
Want to know what I find stupid? I grew up in Texas in high school. They had different languages in class. One was Spanish, but it was Spanish from Spain. That is very stupid. Was it an American teaching the course? Was that what happened? Because that would make sense. Yeah, that's true. That's true. Well, to be fair, this man's probably leaving this place, sitting here for hours, so it probably dries up eventually, yeah? Yeah. Tell your rat for me. Tell him squeak, squeak, squeakity squeak, 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 squeak. Can you do that for me? Ja, natürlich ist Deutsch. Deutsch ist nicht schwer. Ein ganzes, ja, schade, ich kann nicht diese Wörter, anyways.
Work, work, work.
What's up, Vanya? Why are you saying meh?
Cleaning procedure finished.
Your dog went to your grandma. Why did your dog go to your grandma? Did you lose custody of your dog to your grandma? That's wild. I know that was a thing that could happen.
It's time for a purge.
Ah, see, you should have squeaked. You didn't squeak in the right accent. You actually called him an offensive word, so I understand it. Oh, hallo Ali, wie geht's, mein Freund? Na, alles geht gut? Mein Deutsch ist nicht so gut. Meine Mutter ist Deutsche, aber mein Vater ist Amerikanischer und ich habe viel mein Deutsch vergessen. Aber ich kann ein bisschen Sprachen. Mhm. Na gut, na gut. Blobby. Of course I do. Blobby! Can we get a shout out for Blobby? Check, we get a shout out for Blobby. And everybody say hi, Blobby. Blobby's also a streamer. They have a really cool 3D model. They do perfuming. They're a very, very interesting person. I think they're very cool. We should check out their content. They aren't as cool as me, of course, but like, you know, I think they're pretty cool. Static. 1 second, thank you. Thank you, sweeties. Do we still got static, or what's going on? Do we know if there's still static? Good? Okay. Sweet. It's just one of those days. It's all about the he said, she said, BS. No. So, my audio driver's been having some issues with this interface. That's fine, though. It happens sometimes. Bring me groceries. Coming in here, not bringing me food. By the way, Blobby, how was Australia? Did you have a good time? Did you see a lot of cool people? I also get gummy worms. Can I expose Neeks? Like, in what sense? Is Neeks making fun of me? I've never been to Korean barbecue or karaoke. I'm jealous. Hey, Raiders! Raiders. Be patient. I need to take you all downstairs real quick. Come here. Hi, Ivory's Raiders. Welcome. So I had this roommate, well, was it too recently? Maybe 2 weeks ago. And, hey, stop. Don't warn him. Hey, fine, I can't do my normal introduction, but you got warned. So, hi, welcome. Enjoy being stuck in the cage. Hello, my name is LuckyJene. Oh, I already had you going into the right spot. I'm not going to make you step back this time. You've been here before, and now you live here. Proud of you. Ivory, hi. I came by earlier, but I couldn't stick around. How was your stream? Marvel Rivals fun? This is the basement. It is. It's the basement. Hey, hands in the cage. Hands back in the cage. Stop it. Stop. Hey, look. There we go. How was stream? Was it good? Can we get a shout out for Ivory if we haven't already? That's better. There you go. I promise. The cage is cozy. You get used to it. I have blankets in there. See? One of these is blankets. We're going to see what this is. Oh, nope. That's the vitamins. Here's your iron supplements, chat. Don't ask why it's backwards. Here, we'll flip it. Oh, sorry. This is the one without iron. My bad. Here, where's the proper vitamins? Are these them? Here we go. Iron supplements. There you go, because I know that you need them. Okay? Enjoy your supplements. Of course. Well, I really do appreciate the raid. Chat, go check out Ivory. They're very cool. They do Marvel Rivals a lot. They are a very smart person who knows stuff about space. And I enjoy their company very much. So if you ever want to go hang out with them, you should. Okay, I feel better now. But they're very cool. Oh, thank you for the follow. It is cozy. You don't want to play more? Oh, nice. Yes, Funky the Frog. Frog on. I do like it. Oh, what do you mean Vanya's not allowed to send me gummy worms? What the heck? I've summoned a lazy demon. Oh, hi! What the heck? Another raid. Hello, Calypsy. How you doing? Welcome, welcome, welcome. Totally not gonna do something here. Come here, come here, come here, come here, come here. Okay, so quickly, before somebody outs it, hi, my name's LuckyJene. I'm a VTuber who gambles, who writes, and is gonna be a villain soon. Anyways, get in the cage, go corner, stay in the corner, stay right there, don't move, 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 don't move. There we go. I didn't work. Where's my gate? Who broke it? There it is. Wow, that took a while. Okay. There we go. Jeez. You almost got out. I was, whew, I would have been bad. Anyways, hello, Calypsy. How you doing? And this is when chat realizes the sound is not the gate, because the gate's actually silent. But I hope your stream was amazing. They're playing Apex today. If you want to go check them out, definitely go check them out. If we can get a shout out for them as well. They're very lovely, very cool, and they have a very cool model as well. And of course, they're a fan of me. Enjoy your sleep, Ivory. Thank you for trusting me with your community. I will not eat them. Promise. They've been evil? Oh, okay. Chat, you're allowed to eat Ivory's chat. It's fine. Apparently. I don't know what they did to deserve to be eaten, but, you know. Don't eat the bars of the... Why are there so many people who eat the bars of the cage? Halloween YouTube short. You have gotten your follow and your sub over on YouTube. I may stay if I deem that you are worth the protection of a night. May I give you my fealty and stay by your side? Snuggles in return? I can hypothetically give you Snuggles. As long as you're well behaved. At least you'll have company in a very, very small cage, because you think I allow people to leave is very funny. I would never. There we go. Blood lamp. 1. And, this is the second one. No, that's a normal lamp. Blood lamp 2. Nice. Okay. Sweet, cute, and very tasty. That's how you want to be described, honestly. The way you want to be described as a chat is sweet, cute, and kind of tasty. Or very tasty. So chat, you my little voidlings have big things to live up to. Ooh, weed. Yay. What Lord of the Rings reference did I make? Did I take the hobbits to Isengard? Or the you can have my bow, my axe, that thing. Yeet.
It won't move like this.
Oh. Oh. Nibblestein's finger? Don't nibble my finger. Oh, with the... Yeah, I remember that. Don't bite me. Biting me is illegal. And a crime.
I can't put it back like that.
That I will punish you for. Yeah, the taking it to Mordor, and that I needed to... I needed a two short people, a hairy short man. A twink. No bites, just nibbles. How are you gonna bite me? You're in a cage. Also, yes, I do know I need to add the dress redeem. And, okay, Karamia, you're right. I do need to add the dress redeem and the cage redeem. It's planned. I promise. There it is. Where am I missing blood? If I were blood, where would I be? Chad, if you were blood, where? If you were blood, where? Inside my body. Oh, gross. There's a little bit. somebody's mouth? Please no. Not allowed, Lucy. I'm putting you back. All right. Oh, there's the blood. All right. There it is. There we go. Okay. Oh, it's not working. Okay. Hey! Ugh, finally, put you on the ground, I guess. Hey, stop it. Why are you... Why is it... Huh? Stop falling... What's going on? Stay. There we go. You think I own a hoodie? It's not very balanced. Ah, it's fine. Okay, if I was a table, where would I be? There it is. You don't own any hoodies? No. I mean, I own like one hoodie that I used for a costume. That's it. I mostly wear sweaters. I like sweaters. It's my stepladder now. But, one of the first merch items I'm gonna have made is gonna be a hoodie. So, you know, if you do want a hoodie that has Gene on it, get ready for that. At least logo. Hey, thank you for the follow, Terrified. Welcome, welcome, welcome. What do you mean? Why? Because I don't have a hoodie? You don't want my hoodie merch? Crazy. Fine. Okay, I get it. I could get a jean jacket. Why do you think I would? Why would I own hoodies? I'm very warm in general. The only thing I usually like is sweaters because they look good. Sweaters look really good on me. I'll also have sweaters. Stickers. Where's the chair that I'm missing? Okay, well that one's dumb. No, I wear sweaters. Chat, I like sweaters, okay? Sweaters look good on me. I look like a bisexual sleut, as I should. Let me and my bisexualness be. Enjoy your sleep. Sleep well. Exactly. What are boyfriend sweaters? I do not know a sweater brand. I buy what fits. Because I'm a tall man. I usually buy from big and tall stores. Because they fit nicer, because they're longer. I am 6'4". Wait, I should have made it like a secret. Could you imagine if I did that? I made like a secret where like y'all had to redeem to find out my height. After so many donations, I'd finally tell you how tall I am. Because God likes me more. I don't know. Chad, I'm actually only 5'4". I do tell people who claim they're 6 foot that I'm actually I'm exactly 6 foot. That they must be lying. I live to bully insecure men. Thank you for the follow, Lonely. Oh yeah, you won! Congratulations. Does that mean that you get a free sub? Congrats, congrats, congrats. I do have a short attitude. I get that. 'Cause I never felt tall. To me, I've always just been a normal height, and I never really think about other people's height. I never really felt tall. And that's why I give off short energy. Go to sleep, Terrified. Terrified, if you go to sleep, you can wake up for my stream. My morning stream. Can we get a Gene schedule, Redeem? Thank you. So yes. No. I just didn't think about my height. I mean, remember, I'm neurodivergent, so my brain really doesn't ever consider that I'm taller than other people. Okay, you know how Great Danes are big? Yeah, no, exactly. Oh my god, dwarf, you and me, same wavelength. This is why you're a VIP. Very much like that. I don't think I'm tall. I just am tall. Every once in a while, I'll go through like a low-hanging door and hit my head and be like, huh? What? Or I'll step weird and I'll like knock something over and smash something and be like, oh, right. Okay, so, Terrified, what's your time zone? Okay, so right now it is 5:04 p.m. GMT +1. Alexa, what time is it in GMT +1 right now?
I'm not quite sure how to help you with that.
Well, screw you then. Somebody else figure it out for me. All right, here we. I got you. 3:30 MST to GMT +1. It's 5 past midnight for me in UK. Okay, so, I don't know. I give up. I tried. I am not in the right mental headspace to do math. Hey, Carmia, what time do I start for you? Hey, Alexa, Google LuckyJene.
Searching Google.
No, not you. Alexa, stop. Alexa, stop. Alexa, stop. Okay, so 9:30 a.m., I guess. 9:30 or 10:30 a.m. And Alexa, buy Milka gummy worms? Or no, buy Milka chocolate. What? Never mind. I give up. Dev, I'm putting you back in the basement. Alexa, play wet fart noises. Alexa, play fart noises.
I'm not quite sure how to help you with
that. Oh, fine. I just want one of you to have succeeded. Your long-distance boyfriend doesn't watch my stream? You should be watching my stream with your boyfriend. Oh, no. If you don't watch my stream with your long-distance partner, are you really in love? If you're dating a person and they're not a LuckyJene fan, are they really worth your time? That's honestly a big red flag as not being a fan of mine. That's why you're single. I forced my husband to be your fan. Says the big red Me a red flag? What? I totally didn't buy a 20-pound mug because I thought it'd be a fun way to get into shape. That's crazy. And that way is going to make it my water redeem. I'm going to actually, like, I'm going to fully open the water redeem so that, like, people can endlessly do a hydration redeem.
I should clean it first.
And that way, you know, I'll get in shape. Where would you find a 20-pound mug? On the TikTok shop, obviously. Man, it was such a good video, too. It was such a good video. So this guy, like, he clearly bought it as a prank for his family, and everybody was trying to drink from it, and they're all, like, struggling to drink from it, and then Brian comes out, lifts the cup with a kid in one hand, picks the cup up with the other hand, and just drinks like it's nothing. And all the comments are like, I could feel his aura from 3 videos away. Wait, what am I stressing you about?
Cleaning comes before fixing.
I need a pressure washer. Chad, should I buy a pressure washer next? I can't use a pressure washer, so I wouldn't. But I did think about buying, they have this, like, portable car washing bucket. And I'm like, part of my car is damaged, so I don't want to take it to a, you know, car wash. But, like, I also thought, you know, what if I had this bucket? Well... No, it's not a pressure washer. It is a car washer. Like, it's specifically a spray washer for cars. My car's not that bad. I should save money to fix other things. Like, I want to get my teeth worked on. I have one tooth that is damaged that I need to get fixed. Oh, one day. Everything else, though, is... I have nice and straight teeth, and I have one tooth that's damaged in the back. Oh, you're right. I also need about $10,000 for the rebrand. Chad, does anybody want to give me $10,000 just to have as a gift because it would be funny for the meme? Chad, do you want to just meme and give me $10,000? I think it'd be a great meme, honestly. Top tier memes.
I'm starting smell extermination.
That's fair. Buy me another 20-pound mug. Pull my tooth? What? No. That's insane. Barely have 10K to pay to college, that's fair. I also make decent money. If I were to save money, I would be okay, but you know. Womp womp. You know what I'm saying?
Oh.
Ah, my lips. You can find merch. It'll probably be after November. We'll go look into getting it designed. After I do the fundraiser, part of the fundraiser that I'll be doing is dropping merch. Merch will be dropping after the fundraiser. I'm also looking into sponsorships right now, and so if we ever get to the point where we get sponsorships, it's going to be really sick. I'm looking forward to it. Right now, the one sponsorship that I want does not exist yet. I can't get it because they're closed for their affiliate links. I'm like, yeah. Yeah. I wonder if I should just start promoting them through my TikTok and then be like, hey, guys, G-subs, convince them to let me, become an affiliate partner. Hashtag GamerSubs, sponsor Gene. Should we do? Actually, that might be a good idea. Paranormal, that is so smart. I should do that. I should do that. I should do that. You know what? I'm going to start doing that. I'm going to set aside 5% of my paycheck for fun stuff. Yeah, exactly. I mean, I already told Jay Schlatt that I'm not giving him any more money until he opens up the thing. He's not going to listen to me because he's too wealthy. But hey, maybe one of these days. Once I hit 100 followers, once I hit 100 followers on TikTok, we'll go bully Jay Schlatt to give me a sponsorship. What do you think? Vibes? This is how I clean my apartment, by the way. I was gonna say 100,000. That's actually a good idea. You know what's funny? I have 3 friends now with GamerSubs partnerships already. And I'm just like looking at them being like, give me your affiliate code. You don't even like energy drinks. Give me your affiliate code.
Can't pick up anything with a full bag.
Yeah, except Markiplier isn't falling for it. BBDO keeps trying to get Markiplier and nothing's happened so far. I think Markiplier just doesn't care. GamerSubs is an energy drink supplement, a gamer supplement for sex. It's also called G-Subs. Comes in multiple different flavors. It is a very simple powder with very few additives. Gives you caffeine or melatonin based on the one that you get. It can come with caffeine, non-caffeinated, or melatonin versions. Flavor your water today with G-Subs. Yeah, he doesn't go onto TikTok. Exactly. Oh no, legitimately, there are multiple energy drink brands I could get with right now. But here's the thing. GamerSubs is the only one that I use. Because I like the taste. No. So they're in Australia. And you can get them from Amazon pretty much anywhere for the same price. It's about $30 for a small container. But the small container has 120 servings. $30 for 120 energy drinks. The flavors are really good. They don't fill it with chalk filling. And they have many different like VTuber brand like flavors as well as like content creator flavors. And all of them are very good. One of my favorite right now is Brand Risk. It has actual peach flavoring in it. So when you normally get peach flavoring, the peach is like an artificial peach flavor. But they actually got actual peach flavoring for Brand Risk. It is one of Webby's flavors. And it's very, very tasty. Currently, I'm doing the fruit punch flavor, which is really good. I mean, I'm using it as kind of like as an add-in for my soda water right now. But I really like all of them. All of them are good in their own way, and all of the different flavors have been very tasty. Provide a good amount of caffeine, and the best part about it is that if you mix the powder, like so, the reason why I don't like Gamer Fuel is because if you do too much flavoring powder, it like tastes bad because they use too much filler. But since GamerSubs doesn't have that filler, you can do as much powder as you want to increase the flavor, and it still tastes good. Thank you for the sub, Terrified. I appreciate it. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. And we're gonna do a pronoun redeem. I go by he, they. Chat, what pronouns do you use? There's one called Doggy Style. Exactly. I don't know what my flavor would be. Somebody mentioned doing like a watermelon tahini flavor, which I think would be amazing. But I don't know if they could do that. La vaca. Moo. And look at us getting more gender. Chat. My gender is changing. My gender matches chat. So now I'm only 75% female when before I was like 90. It's been interesting. What am I doing? All right. Thank you for the new follow, Nova Lover. My gender. You're fluiding my gender. I did make waffles. I had waffles this morning. They were good. Me and my gender be fluid. Oh, and for a real quick, let's make sure that I care about everyone here. Gender, trans rights are human rights. There we go. Just want to clarify. That'll always be my perspective. Anyways, we're good. Hello, thank you for the follow, Gummy Gum. Greatly appreciated. And doing a quick follower check every once in a while. Anybody can be whatever they would like to be. Go for it. It is human rights. What is that noise in the background? There we go. I feel better about this. Nya nya. No, why'd I copy you? Yes, everyone is welcome in the basement. It's not voluntary. You're going in the basement. Did you just call me a loser? You're going deeper in the basement. I'm putting you in the second cage. I'm double bagging the cages, by the way. Parkour! Oh, it didn't work. Good night. That's what the most recent TikTok was about. People don't have my Oshi mark, so I'm putting people in a second cage. A second, smaller cage. You can have hot chocolate in the basement if you have my Oshi marks. If you don't, you just get water.
Loser, I'll take my deep dungeon cage now, please.
I'll take my deep dungeon cage. Fair enough. Let's try this. Okay, we're gonna try this again. What? Ugh. All right, we're gonna do this again. Hi, proud of you. Good job. Okay, let's do this again. I got this. Easy does it. Easy does it. Easy does it. Easy does it. Easy. Are you freaking kidding me? Okay. Okay. I got this. Okay. Aha! Okay. We're fine. Good. Anyways, where were we? Why would you want the bucket to spill? It's not gonna spill. It's fine, see? Oh, you kidding me? I mean, what? Hi. Hi. We're good. I'm fine. It's fine. Oh. Where'd the bucket? I lost the. There it is. That's not the bucket. Where'd the bucket go? There. No, that's not the bucket. There it is. That's not the bucket. Where did the bucket go? Oh. Okay. Have I tried putting the bucket on the floor? Why would I do that? Yes, don't worry. I will do a TikTok explaining Oshi marks. I also need to do a TikTok where I let everybody out of the basement. That'll be fun. Not out of the basement, but you know, I'll take them on a walk. We'll see if I make that one tonight, though. Technically, I've already posted one. Get some sleep. Thank you for coming by.
Lift me up, mortal. Medieval sniff.
I posted on Instagram, Twitter, and on YouTube, and on TikTok. So, yeah, they're on all platforms. So, yes.
It's time for a purge.
Any platform you use, it's probably already posted on.
All right, Neeks, what's up? What's up, Neeks?
Both work nicely. Both work nicely. Whichever one looks better on whatever platform you're using, because they do change depending on the platform. But the important is red and black. Enjoy your dinner. No, go enjoy dinner. It's not like I'm gonna feed you. Yeah, just DM it to me.
First things first. Gotta scrub, scrub, scrub.
Are you? Oh my. Bucket. What the heck? I feed you sometimes. Black and red is wrong. It's red and black. You'd be wrong. Don't you dare. Katamia unpretzel. You okay? Fine, I will feed you. Wait. Just cut me a pretzel? Just cut me a pretzel? I refuse to relax my jaw. You can't make me. I'm actually kind of hungry. What am I going to do for dinner? I could make a broth from my ramen. I have curry. Paranormal Dove. You can call me femboy.
Before I forget. Sorry for calling you a femboy. My radar must have been broken.
You can call me a femboy. I think it's funny. It's not right, but you can call me it. I think it's funny. I am too large to be a femboy. I'm too big. We are having tortas de barbacoa. Ooh, I love tortas. I love tortas. And I also like the Mexican sandwich known as a torta. No comment? Fine. There we go. There we go. That's what I was waiting for. That's a lot of blood. Oh, that's what I'm doing. I got distracted. Yoink. Oh, shoot. No Paranormal Dove. Sorry. My reaction is more of like, people call me a femboy all the time, and I think it's funny, and then I fake getting angry. I'm gonna be honest, lovelies. Here's a peek behind the screen. I never get angry at all of you. Maybe very, very, very rarely, but then I get over it, and like I kind of handle the situation. But like, I almost never get mad at you if I ever act mad or I seem visibly mad. Then I'm most definitely not mad with you. Okay? I just think it's funny. Don't get me wrong, people have pissed me off, but it happens. Everybody
It's part of being a human being, is to occasionally make other humans mad, you know? And a donk. You don't, I mean, you very actually rarely overwhelm me. I tend to overwhelm myself more often than not. Cut me out. Cut me is one of the few people who probably have never have annoyed me at all, ever. Only like once. Maturity points plus 20. Exactly. Hey, Yoshihiko. And hello, young Troy. Welcome, welcome. And the thing is, like, if you do annoy me, I'm a responsible adult, and I'm also the streamer. It is my responsibility to either process and handle my emotions, or talk to you about them. And if I choose not to talk to you about them, well then guess what? It's on me. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Oh, I've gone through a lot of therapy. Sorry, it was fine. I've gone through so much therapy. This is years of work, so y'all. Oh, why are you creeped out? Because I have therapy and emotional maturity? Valid. Yeah. No, if I have an issue, you generally like I'll come talk to you about it. Mm-hmm. Now, here's the thing though. If you cause issue for other people in the community, and you cause issue for quite a few people, and somebody's talked to you about it, and you continue causing issue, in that case, I will do something. And at that point, there's no longer communication, because it's more about making sure that people feel comfortable and safe as a whole, that occasionally I have to be a bad guy and handle the individuals. It's not something I enjoy doing. What happens? Pillows. It is funny. Cruisy, that is funny. Why are there so many dolls? Oh, blood, hello. It's because I'm a doll, chat. Mm-hmm. Not that kind of doll, though. Protect the dolls, though. Oh, no. You're not allowed to leave the basement. That's a different scenario. Sorry, I think you misunderstood. You're not going anywhere. I need you for the numbers. Twitch cares about my numbers, so, you know. You ain't allowed to leave like that. No. What?
I am a Cerberus. I am. You now know what a demon Gene would sound like. Vaguely British.
Crawling out of my cage and I am doing just fine. Gotta get on, cause I want it all. Started out with a kiss, how did it end up like this? It was only a kiss. It was only a kiss. Hello, Pokemon. Hello! How you doing, Pig? Peek, peck, peek. I know you. But I don't know how your name is pronounced. That is a problem. But hey, thank you for the check-in. I appreciate it. Coming out of my cage and I am doing just fine. Sorry, chat.
Give me a new enemy.
I'm sorry.
evil laughs. Ha 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 ha.
Okay, I feel better now. I feel better. That satisfied the urge and the feeling and the need. Oh, that felt good. Your story that has been a blaze of glory. I can hear you. Oh, the struts! The struts! I don't feel. Thank y'all for dance partying with me. It was fun. This music was so good. This music was so good. I miss this era of music. I feel like we'll never get this genre back. I still listen to it. It's good. It vibes. Do you know what band I really liked for a while? That like did not do much. They had the one album. Fun. Period F-U-N. I don't know why they ended. Thank you for the stream check-in. They're so good. Right? Fun. Fun was... Oh, yeah, I'm going to listen to one song that I love by them, okay? Here's a song that I would highly consider doing a cover of if I could drop it. Like drop tune. Go low with it because I can't hit these notes. Here, we'll pop up the volume for this one. There you go. Yeah, I dig the Smiths. The Smiths are sick. Hey, thank you for the follow. I was stuck in the streets of my new city. My back feeling much better, I suppose. This is my imagination. For better or for worse, I've yet to know. Then you the one to understand me. Why are you poking my shoulder? How dare you? Most of my seat on my block. Oh, why haven't you been there for me? Can't you see? I'm losing my mind this time. I can't hit those notes. They're too high, but I would love to be able to hit this. It's so good. So amazing. Nibbles on dog. Get rude. Well, here we go. Wait a second. Chat. I have to do something. I'm sorry if you don't like metal, but this has to happen, okay? Because we are doing German right now, and I'm feeling like singing stupid songs, so we are going to do this. Okay, you ready? Here we go. You ready? We're going to do some metal. I apologize if you don't like metal. Here we go. Are you ready? Wait. No, not this one. I want to do, shoot. We're gonna do Engel.
Eins, zwei, drei, vier am Allerbeiner.
Evil laughs. Ha 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 ha.
I'm trying to find the lyrics in German.
An Moment in sehen kann.
Es wenn die Wolken schlafen gehen, kann man uns am Himmel sehen. Wir haben Angst und sind allein.
Und Gott weiß, dass ich kein Engel sein.
You should check out G8 Keeper on the Discord. Okay, definitely will. Wait, Rammstein, Engel, lyrics, German. There we go. Where's this?
Judgment Day is coming soon.
This is insane. I can't find the lyrics anywhere. Everything is like, did you want the lyrics translated into English? No. Well, I give up. I give up, chap. I give up. We can't listen to the song anymore. It's over. It's gone. I can't sing it. I can't find the lyrics. And anytime I look up the lyrics, they're like, here are half the lyrics. Legitimately. I pulled it up, and it's not even the whole lyrics for the song. Which is insane. Can I answer your question? No. I refuse now. Unless you sent a question, Redeem. Did you send a question, Redeem? No? Too bad. All right, where were we? I do like The Who. The Who is good. Alright. There you are. Probably. Yeah, I have. Alright, where were we? Why is this? There it is. There it goes. I got lost. Hey, thank you for the follow. Simp for mostly LuckyJene. Good name, good name, good name. I like it. Good name, good name.
Wow. Wow. Wow.
What am I doing? I got distracted. Help! Oh, Jinxie, I'll give you a hug. Come here. Here. You going okay, sweetie? Can we get a shout out for Jinxie, by the way? Give me a shout out for Jinxie. They're also a content creator. Redeem? I'm such a good doggy. But yes, no, I have heard Falling in Reverse. I don't know about. I might have heard Prevail. Oh, Prevail by. Okay, no, I don't necessarily know them. Ready, set, go. It's time to run. And we are one. Ah, well, I will not be supporting them then. Ah, got you. Tea time. Hey, tea time. Yay, yay. Oh, there it is. Where's the blood? That's sad. I hate when people turn out to be bad. Shite. Giving Vanya vibes? Oh yeah, no, 100%. Do you know what? Do you want to give me Vanya vibes? The immediate meow when they came in, because nobody else meows like that. The moon is hashing down. Don't you know? You made a new friend? Congrats! It's not a bad thing. See, I know Vanya. Vanya has a feeling about them, and I like the vibe Vanya gives off. I was immediately like, there's the raccoon. There it is. Rack attack. I would say my mods are my biggest simps and also my most adamant detractors. Like my mods absolutely love my content and me, but they also hate me and want me to suffer. A what person? Neeks, sweetie, are you talking about the simp? Oh, I love my mods, and my mods love me and hate me and want to see me do. Thank you for the legs. Don't be scared. I'm sorry, my brain is gone today. What is this? Why cringy one-liners? I didn't say I'm bad. I'm an amazing streamer. Oh, wait, no, technically, you're right. Let me think. Okay.
You'll never understand my true darkness.
Wait, no, what's the one? What's the other one? The one about, like...
Gene, why would you expose me as a CC? There's so many people in here. I'm just a little goober.
You're a cool goober. Is this the song? No. What? How's it go? It goes something... I need a cringe line about the Joker. Ah, thank you, CC. Somebody give me a cringe line. I did talk bad about myself, so I need a cringe line now. Jinxie, you've raided into me quite a few times. What are you talking about? You deserve attention. I really appreciate you've raided in and you're a cool person. So yeah, deal with it. Oh, I figured out what I was doing. I need to go get my bucket. Oh, is TTS broken? Wait, did we run out of TTS again? Give me a second, I'll be right back. I think we ran out of TTS. So we only have so many free TTS redeems before they break. I think we've hit it. And now there is no sound, 'cause we all live on the ground. Oh no, we're fine. Huh, give me a second. Of a skill, Oh, hey, wait, who do we get to follow? Intense Bread! What's up, Intense Bread? Welcome. Sorry. Also, hello, everybody. Welcome to the menagerie. Y'all are so sick and cool and awesome. And you smell delicious. I'd eat you. Technology, no, there's no sound, 'cause we all live underground.
Hey, this is Tangia Dan, one of the developers of Tangia. If you can hear me, then it's working. If not, make sure you turn on monitor output for your Tangia browser source.
Why do I feel high? Oh, do you know why you feel high, chat? Hi, chat. Because I'm high, and you're getting residuals. Mwah.
2 to the 1 to the 1 to the 3. I like big pussy and I like good tree. I smoke so much weed you wouldn't believe, and you get more ass in a toilet seat. Sorry. Conversation and Hennessy. I've been to the motherfucking mountaintop. Heard motherfuckers talk shit and drop.
Come on, it's already filming.
Yes.
Fuck the steering wheel, come on.
Let your body pass you by. Go round the house and straight right by. Couldn't rule enough. Yeah, sick.
Don't try this at home, kids.
Also, for all the swears I just said, ruff, 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 ruff. There you go.
They giving it up. Shake that for me. Shake that. That ass. Shake that for me. No, no, shake that ass. Shake that for me. Shake that. Shake that. I'm a menace, a dentist, an old hygienist.
I love this song so much. It hits so hard. My brain is gone. It has left the building. There's only 3 of me in this room right now, and none of them are playing this game or streaming. Why are there 3 of me? Because I have multiple personalities, except I don't. I lied to you. Oh, there's not 2 songs playing. That's only 1 song. That's 1 song. Have a good one, Peak. Oh, is the ADD kicking in? Are you kidding me? Ocean man, take me by the hand, take me for the land. Ocean man, the boundaries of the water of the dove is a real trip. Are the other personality gay wolves? No. One of them's straight and he gets bullied all the time. God, look at you being straight. Willingly? Ugh. At least go to like a conversion camp if you're gonna have to be that. That way you at least have the trauma to back it up. Anyways, I have a little headcanon that while Gene is streaming, I shrink down and escape the cage, but rather than getting freedom, I just sit in his hair. Oh, it's adorable. Ocean man. Maybe the ADD was all the friends we made along the way. The heterosexuality was all the, oh, have fun, Ink. Thank you for bringing me tea. The heterosexuality was just the friends we made along the way. Y'all should see my favorite creators. You know what? I'm gonna make like a Discord post and just show you all the creators that I watch, and you'll be like, oh, this makes sense. I get Gene now. One of my favorite streamers of all time, his name is Bajo. Bajo. He used to be a announcer for like a Game Thing Australia. And he does a stream where like he has stuff popping up non-stop. You sub, he pops up in the bottom corner. You give bits, he has another pop-up where he gives bits. He has a whole scene where he just goes to church, and then everybody's in church, and they're praising, different versions of him are praising something. It's so funny. And it like, my brain goes, nope, we're no longer there anymore. Brain gone. It's the best. The bucket! You know what, we're just using this. We need to do more Stanley's Parabola. Anybody want to do more Stanley's Parabola sometime? We haven't beaten it, technically. Oh, Jinx, that's so cute. I appreciate that. Yeah, yes. Ooh, I like the excitement. Did you? That's fair. As you should. Meow. I have a good taste in music. You just don't know. Maybe that bats. I'm a gox. Wow. Man, I wish I could make music. I could make music if I put some effort into it and took the time to learn. I have not, and I do not plan to anytime soon. What? Bad. Bad. How dare you, Lucky? Not me. You, Lucky. I have a problem. Touch me, Midas. Your design, want to guide us out of fear for the very last time. Oh, I'm proud of you. Well done, Allie. Allie, if you ever get to the point where you feel comfortable around birds, let me know. And we'll do a stream with birds in it, okay? It'll take a while, though. Like, if it takes a year, if it takes multiple years, that's fine. You don't need to rush this. I just think it'd be fun to celebrate with a, you know, a bird-themed stream for when you are feeling like you are ready for it. I want a pretzel so bad. All right. Anybody want to get me a pretzel? Is the mall open? I'm too high to drive. Oh, hello. By the way, I gotta check on... We're back. Lunar. Do you want to go on a pretzel making date? Like a friend date? Because I've always wanted to make pretzels, and I don't know how to make pretzels. And so I've always wanted somebody to teach me how to make pretzels. So, will you teach me how to make pretzels? Well, honestly, simp, valid. My bucket is empty. I know, 1 second. Dilated pupils also shows a sign of being affectionate or enjoying something. So you're just liking my stream a lot. That's why your pupils are full blown. These are Hero 1800. I'm glad you had fun, BB. You be good, okay? Shut up for me. Don't please. Dance party has been requested. It's time for the dance party, where we gotta play it from the beginning. Oh, sneeze again. No! I muted in time. It's okay. Still on that one, eh? I love all your dance emotes. Those are so cool. Yeah, exactly. So, chat, goal, BB no money collab, BB no money collab. What do we think? What do we think? Think it's possible? I felt good. That felt good. Thank you all. Oh, we're coming up to the end. Actually, I have some stuff I gotta do after stream, don't I? Okay, you know what? We're gonna call it here. I plan on playing more of this in the morning anyways. Yeah. So I think we're gonna call it here, because I do have after stream plans. So, lovelies, it has been an amazing stream. You've all been just so very incredible, as always. I mean, like, look at you all. Look at you all. Look at how amazing all of you are. So, we're gonna call it here. I will see y'all later, okay? Tomorrow morning, I'll be back. 3:30 a.m. MST. Good way to end. Let's see if I can find somebody we can raid out to. Should be sick. Let's see who we got. There's got to be a lot of good people right now. Oh, Bow's streaming. Okay, I don't like raiding them They're doing a horror game. Oh, heck yeah! Tippy! Chat, we're rating Tippy. We're rating Twippy. All right. Pop up that raid message for me. We about to send you over there. I'm so excited to send you all over there. Copy that raid message. Are you ready? 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Love you all. Mwah.